Ever wonder what the world will look like in 2050? Who will be calling the shots? For decades, the United States has been the undisputed global leader. But now a new powerhouse is rising, and its name is China. This isn't just another news headline, it's the defining story of our time. This is the battle for the 21st century. So, how did we get here? Let's rewind a bit. After World War II, America essentially built the modern world. The US dollar became the global currency, American companies like Coca-Cola and McDonald's became household names everywhere, and Hollywood movies shaped cultures across the planet. This system, built on American economic and military might, created decades of relative stability and growth. It was a unipolar world with Washington at its center. But while the US was leading the show, something incredible was happening in the East. In the late 1970s, China opened its doors to the world. Deng Xiaoping's reforms unleashed the economic potential of over 1 billion people. What followed was nothing short of an economic miracle. Hundreds of millions were lifted out of poverty. Gleaming new cities rose from farmland. And Made in China became the most common label on the planet. This wasn't just about cheap toys and t-shirts. China was climbing the value chain fast. They went from assembling iPhones to designing their own advanced smartphones. They built the world's largest high-speed rail network. And today they're leading in fields like 5G technology, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. Think about companies like Huawei, Alibaba, and Tencent. These aren't just Chinese giants, they're global tech titans competing directly with Silicon Valley. This brings us to the first major battleground, technology. The race for tech supremacy is fierce. It's about who controls the digital infrastructure of the future. The US sees companies like Huawei as a potential security risk, leading to bans and restrictions. China, in response, is pouring billions into its own tech sector, aiming for self-sufficiency and to set its own global standards. This isn't just about faster phones, it's about who writes the rules for the internet, for AI, and for the data that fuels our modern lives. The winner of this tech race will have a massive advantage for decades to come. Next up, economy. For a long time, the US and China had a sort of symbiotic relationship. China made things, and America bought them. But that's changing. China is now a massive consumer market in its own right, and is no longer content being just the world's factory. They have ambitious plans, like the Belt and Road Initiative. This is a colossal infrastructure project aiming to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa through a network of ports, railways, and pipelines. Critics in the West see this as debt trap diplomacy, a way for China to gain strategic influence by lending money to developing countries. But for many of those nations, it's a once-in-a-generation opportunity for development that the West hasn't offered. Through this initiative, China is not just building roads, it's building relationships and creating a new economic bloc with Beijing at its heart. Meanwhile, the US is trying to counter this with its own partnerships, but the sheer scale of China's investment is hard to match. Then there's the military dimension. The United States still has the most powerful military in the world by a long shot. Its network of bases and alliances spans the globe. But China is catching up, and fast. They've been modernizing their military at a breathtaking pace, developing advanced fighter jets, aircraft carriers, and hypersonic missiles. Their focus is on what strategists call anti-access area denial. Essentially, they want to make it very difficult and costly for the US military to operate near China's coast, especially in contested areas like the South China Sea and near Taiwan. This creates a tense standoff. The South China Sea, a vital shipping lane, has become a major flashpoint. China claims almost all of it, building artificial islands, and militarizing them, while the U.S. and its allies conduct freedom of navigation operations to challenge those claims. The situation around Taiwan is even more delicate. Beijing considers Taiwan a breakaway province that must be reunified by force if necessary. The U.S. has a long-standing policy of strategic ambiguity, not explicitly saying if it would defend Taiwan, but providing it with the means to defend itself. Any miscalculation here could have catastrophic consequences. But this isn't just a contest of hardware and money. It's also a battle of ideas, a clash of systems. The U.S. champions a model of liberal democracy, individual freedoms, and free markets. China offers a different path, a state-led capitalist model combined with authoritarian governance. They argue their system is more efficient, capable of long-term planning and delivering stability and prosperity without the messiness of democratic politics. For many developing countries looking for a path to growth, the China model can be very appealing. It seems to offer a way to get rich without having to adopt Western political values. This ideological competition is playing out across the globe in international institutions like the United Nations, in the media, and in the digital world. It's a fight for hearts and minds, for what kind of world we want to live in. So, who is winning? It's not that simple. The U.S. still has incredible strength. It has the world's reserve currency, the most innovative companies, the best universities, and a powerful network of democratic allies. American soft power, its cultural influence, is still immense, but it also faces deep internal divisions, political polarization, and challenges to its democratic institutions. China has momentum and a clear, long-term vision driven by a powerful central government. Its economic growth has been historic, but it also faces huge challenges: an aging population, environmental degradation, massive debt, and increasing international pushback against its assertive foreign policy. Its authoritarian system, while efficient in some ways, stifles dissent and innovation in others. We're not in a new Cold War, at least not in the same way as the US versus the Soviet Union. The US and Chinese economies are deeply intertwined. A complete decoupling would be devastating for both sides and the global economy. This is a different kind of rivalry, more complex and more nuanced. It's a competition that will be fought in boardrooms, in laboratories, on the internet, and in diplomatic chambers. Ultimately, the future of the 21st century may not be decided by one side winning and the other losing. It might be a future where both powers have to coexist, competing in some areas and cooperating in others, like on climate change or global health crises. The big question is whether this competition can be managed peacefully or if it will spiral into conflict. The decisions made in Washington and Beijing over the next decade will shape the lives of everyone on this planet. It's a story that's still being written, and we are all living through it. What do you think? Is the rise of China inevitable? Can the US maintain its position? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this breakdown interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. See you in the next video.